a lot more people this year. It's wonderful. Shana Tova. It's my great honor to speak to all of you again tonight. As we attempt to navigate what the outside world throws at us, it's amazing what we at B'nai Israel have been able to do together in the last year. Please know that whether you are here tonight or watching us on the live stream, you've all made this happen. Finding a theme for my discussion with you this year has been difficult. Last year, I introduced myself to you as a new president of the congregation and talked about how we worked hard to reopen the shul during the pandemic. In retrospect, that was easy. This year, we find ourselves in a better place, even if we still have to navigate various issues. And let's face it, we are all tired of talking about COVID. To paraphrase Jan Brady, it has seemed like it's always COVID, COVID, COVID. So I met with the clergy to discuss what I should say this year. Reflecting on my speech last year, I was told I quoted lots of popular music, and if I did it this year, could I at least try to make the composers I quoted Jewish? They also said, no, Dylan, we've had enough Dylan. And if you quote Van Halen, it's got to be David Lee era, not Hagar. I thought it was because David Lee is one of ours, but in actuality, I was told Sammy Hagar is too close to Hagar from the Torah. And that gets folks thinking about controversial topics, as Hagar is mother to Ishmael, and we don't want you going controversial. So that meant I had to rip up the parts of my discussion on widening 270 and the upcoming election. So I continued to look for a theme. It really should have been out there blowing in the wind, but you all know what I was told. And I guess I can't use the phrase right now. The Van Halen fans know what I'm talking about. Then it hit me. What have we been doing at B'nai all this time? Action, moving forward, doing it all together. Carole King and Jerry Goffin described it perfectly. Make a chain now. Come on, baby. Do the locomotion. Chug a motion like a railroad train now. Come on, baby. Do the locomotion. Friends, we are rolling here at B'nai. We have momentum. Momentum. That's my theme. No, the shul hasn't physically moved. We are still here on Montrose Road. Our parking lot looks great, though, doesn't it? A big thank you to our own Daryl Bob, who did the parking lot upgrade at his own cost. But in no way are we standing still. Last year at this time, we were just restarting programs and activities that had been in hiatus. But let me tell you what's been happening here over the past year as we rolled down the highway of Judaism. We've restarted Kiddush on a weekly basis. We're back, but better. You can eat inside or you can eat outside. We purchased a large tent. It's just outside the Faneroff Pavilion where the sukkah is going to be erected, and it's full weekly. Our twice daily minyan has returned to Haman Chapel, and we've restarted breakfast for those davening on Sunday and Wednesday mornings. Minyans are an important facet of our congregation, and as one may expect, some days have had difficulty in getting 10 adults in the room, as some have gotten out of the habit of attending or are still a bit leery from in-person attendance. If you can, please think about returning. We'd love to see all of you back. This summer, we celebrated Shabbat on Friday night outdoors on a few occasions, and we experimented with a different start time. We've also had various themed Friday night services, including musical Shabbat and Pride Shabbat. I can report to you that we'll continue to experiment, and we'll have other special themed Kabbalat Shabbats during the year. In fact, next week is another outdoor Shabbat at 6:15. Families with children of school and preschool age have always been an integral part of our B'nai family, and they've been the ones most impacted by the pandemic. Last year, we adapted to COVID, and we kept our Shillet Nursery School and Lessons Talmud Torah open. This year, I'm happy to say both have opened and are running full steam ahead. One of the hardest hit areas for youth was in youth programming. I'm delighted to introduce a new Director of Youth Engagement, Meyer Edelberg, who will be working with all our various youth programs and JDS families to reintegrate these programs back into in-person synagogue life. He's in the building, busy with all our youth programs tonight. The biggest change in our youth department is the recent hiring of Rabbi Cheryl Stone to lead the entire department and become an assistant rabbi at B'nai. Rabbi Stone and the entire education staff have been working hard to shape and move forward all of our educational programs for all of our kids and to integrate all of our learning environments together with a stronger sense of community. And not to forget our wonderful nursery school, led by Rachel Siegel, it continues to race along with lots of happy, smiling ones. Everyone knows that Jewish education is tough, but the energy our staff brings is contagious. Education has a bright future at B'nai. Our clergy has been and is here for us. Rabbi Safra leads a team that touches on our lives every day. I'm not going to list all of their job duties, but boy, have they been busy this year. In fact, Rabbi Berkowitz and Cantor Bolts each added to their family since I last spoke to you. So I take this occasion to thank all of them, Rabbi Safra, Berkowitz and Stone, Cantors Perlman and Bolts, as well as our past senior rabbis, Simon and Schnitzer, who graciously helped us out at times this year for their service. It's one of the things that make B'nai such a great synagogue. You recently received the fall program guide, and you see B'nai and its affiliates, the Sisterhood and Men's Club, is moving into high gear to enrich our lives, both Jewishly and as members of the planet. A new program I'd like to highlight is the Coffee Buzz. Through a grant from the Sisterhood, we invite you to sign up on our website to set up a coffee date with a member of the shul. We'll pay for the coffee and even set you up with a random member and give you a topic to discuss. So after the holiday, please sign up if you haven't already. Whether it be social justice initiatives, social action programs, lifetime learning, or just plain old being together as friends, old and new, we have many opportunities to enrich and enjoy life. The programs are highlighted each week in the Shabbat email, the Shabbat program, and our website. Most of these programs take place here in our building. I spoke last year about how even when the building was closed, we still had upkeep and maintenance costs on it. So think about this year, when we had large numbers of children of all ages running happily through it, daily prayers, kiddush, and more. We've stayed on top of maintenance. You see the parking lots, and if you look up, all those lights are now LED, things that save money in the long run. Soon, I'm happy to report you'll see a coffee lounge area outside the Heyman Chapel, where congregants can recharge and enjoy a cup of coffee, all made possible by a generous donation from the Sternberg family. We are working on other improvements to the building, all at the same time as we keep this building in ship shape as we sail on our Jewish journey. All this activity, all this movement, all this change. Yet B'nai is the same place you can come on Shabbat morning and participate in roughly the same service, including the Torah service, where we still read the entire portion as it was when my family joined years ago. The same basic service, yet our institutional feet are not set in cement. To quote Dylan, the only difference that I see is that you are exactly the same as you used to be. I know I wasn't supposed to quote Dylan, but it's Jacob, not his dad. Moving forward and staying the same, in unison, it's hard, but I think that's what makes us special. And so here I go. All of this costs money. You are all great in paying dues and fees, but these do not fully cover our costs, especially when we, like the rest of the world, get swiped by inflationary increases that we have no control of. We try to control costs as best we can. In fact, even though inflation has risen over 6% in the time I last spoke to you, the Board of Governors was able to only raise the amount of dues by the same amount, 2%, that we have in past years when inflation did not greatly outpace that amount. I'm proud to say that we've been close to or exceeded a balanced budget for the last few years, and we hope to do so again. We do so by filling in the gap with our Hanani campaign. You are all very generous. I'm asking that you be generous again this year. And if you haven't already, please give to the Hanani campaign as you have in past years. Like past years, we are only having one fundraising campaign. We won't bother you again for another fundraiser to meet our annual revenues. One campaign, Hanani, here I am. A huge amount of our congregation participates. Here we are. It makes our lives easier, and I thank you personally for your participation. Now that I'm in my final year as president, I'd like to thank all of those who have gotten us to this moment that I haven't spoke about yet tonight. Our administrative staff, led by Executive Director Hal Osman, along with Facilities Manager Pepe Strauss, do a great job at running a shul. Office staff, I won't name them all. They work with clergy and lay leaders to seamlessly run this place. You saw many helping out over the past few weeks, thanks to all of them. Our lay leadership put in countless hours, from the entire executive board, Board of Governors, Leadership Advisory Committee members, and committee chairs and members. The amount of time volunteers put in here is staggering. Thank you. I want to thank Steve Rothenberg, past president before me, who mentored me and has given me sage advice day in and day out. Finally, I want to tell you that I'm leaving you in great hands next summer when Jeff Fredman, our president-elect, will become our next president. Jeff is a tireless worker for B'nai and will bring great things to our shul. So where do we go from here? Well, in 1925, a group of Jews, some of who were ancestors of you in attendance tonight, formed a shul in the District of Columbia. That shul has evolved into our B'nai Israel here on Montrose Road in the heart of Montgomery County, Maryland. And by my math, that was 97 years ago, which means soon we will celebrate a very big milestone. Not many conservative congregations have as much energy as when they first started as to when they near their 100th birthday. But guess what? We have that energy. And this year, we will start to expand our planning for our upcoming centennial celebration. A small group has already started, and we'll be adding to this merry band of congregants and make more announcements as we move forward. I can't tell you how exciting riding this momentum wave into our 100th birthday is going to be. If it wasn't Kol Nidre, I'd be inclined to eat celebratory centennial birthday cake right now. Finally, I want to thank all of you for giving me the honor of serving as your president. May you all have a fantastic year ahead, an easy fast, and Shana Tova. Thank you and good night.